This is the story of the D&GBL. The D&GBL is constantly put to the test, burdening the load of many growing communities along its lines, delivering all types of freight, the mails, and of course the most precious of cargo, people. The D&GBL operates many fast freight trains daily, but by far, most know the D&GBL for its passenger train fleet, for the excellence of its passenger service is renowned. Let's take a trip aboard one of the many first-class passenger trains operated by the D&GBL. Our trip begins at the most spectacular railroading center along the entire system. The yards, passenger terminal, and engine servicing facilities at Silver Plume. Silver Plume, where the pulse of the D&GBL can be most acutely felt. The passenger depot has 3 through tracks, all served by modern, well-lighted paved platforms. Silver Plume can efficiently handle steam as well as diesel servicing, and the marshalling yards are almost a story in themselves. 13 tracks, controlled by 9 signals and over 20 switches, are used to dispatch passenger and freight trains to all points of the D&GBL lines. During peak operating times, this important terminal sees over 12 trains an hour, coming, going, coming, answering the question of transportation with peak efficiency, economy, and exactitude. To the immediate north of Silver Plume is an area known as Grand Junction, the only location on the D&GBL where all main lines converge. This station sees the passage of every through train. Grand Junction is also the entrance to the Bacardi Industrial District, a major source of revenue for the D&GBL. Next comes Gladiola Park, a recreation site maintained by the railroad and open to all. The vivid colors of the summer foliage are loved by the people of Moss Meadow, and the panoramic vista of the surrounding river valley makes it a popular playground year-round. And best of all, it's free. Near Gladiola Park is a station named Chris, an excellent example of modern railroad dispatching at its finest. Chris has no depot building, but is a high-speed crossover between mainline tracks, operated by centralized traffic control. This signaling system drastically increases the amount of traffic the D&GBL can carry by allowing trains to meet or pass each other. Switches and signals receive information electronically from cables buried along the right-of-way. Sentinels of light, guarding the path of our speeding trains. While others continue to speed on, our train leisurely glides to a stop at Rock Ridge. Rock Ridge is named for the ridge of rocks that may be found on either side of the tracks. Leaving Rock Ridge, we come to the curves at Great Bend. There is a junction at this point, allowing trains to proceed along the main line to Tunnel City, or along the most important branch line of the railroad, the Des Plaines branch. South of Great Bend is Moss Marsh, famous for its towering pine trees. A newly constructed depot building ensures the efficient handling of people and parcels. Then, Tunnel City, the western portal of D&GBL's Redwood Plateau tunnels. The original North Tunnel returns trains to Silver Plume by way of East Portal and the stockyards. The newer South Bore carries us down the main line toward the #1 tourist attraction on the railway. The light at the end of the tunnel beckons our attention forward to the lush tropical growth of the jungle. No hobos here. This is a first-class resort. Although some mining, warehousing, and lumbering goes on, the jungle is primarily for people. Special trains operate on a regular basis simply to take their fortunate passengers on a scenic tour. Out of the tunnel, the first station we reach is Taft. Trains will stop for revenue passengers at Taft, as they will for all other stations in the jungle. Looming ahead, we notice the beautiful Hibiscus Union Terminal. This depot, made out of materials native to the land, is the main passenger handling facility in the jungle area and is popular with passengers making connections. After a quick servicing stop at HUT, our train is ready for an aggressive attack on the treacherous grades of Big Hill. We are now en route to the place thought by many as the most beautiful spot on the D&GBL, the bridge over the River Kwai. On our way, we see evidence of the modern irrigation techniques that bring life-giving water to the fertile soil, making the jungle a jungle. These modern techniques were developed by scientists at D&GBL, and this, the Bass Reservoir, is an integrated part of the overall scheme of aquadynamics. Adjacent to the bridge is the old mill. All passenger trains make a scenic stop, and most through trains have ample time in their schedules to allow passengers a tour of the old mill inn and restaurant. With our passengers well fed, we leave the old mill. Then comes the jungle station itself, the site of many train meets. On our way out of the jungle, we coast back down Big Hill, headed toward Canyon. The canyon is part of the Redwood Plateau where the D&GBL was able to lay only one track, for that's as wide as the canyon gets. Then, out of the confines of the canyon, back into civilization. Highballing along, our train soon arrives at the industrial Tall Timber, one of the division points on the railroad. Tall Timber's name is derived from the massive piles of cut wood adjacent to the depot. We now gear up to climb the newest edition of the railroad, the Bobby Hall Trestle. The grade at first goes almost undetected, but soon it increases to a healthy 6%. The crest at the Blacklands Bridge is the highest point above ground level on the entire system. The bridge and trestle combine high technology and engineering expertise to reduce cross-traffic on the busy Des Plaines branch and eliminate delays on the main line. Once again, running down grade, we listen to the rhythm of the clickety-clack as we roll into Des Plaines. Des Plaines and the branch line serving it sees 75% as much traffic as the main line, proving its vital importance to the D&GBL. Des Plaines siding, like so many others on the railroad, is operated by CTC from a remote point. The rail lines on the plains serve homes, industries, and the farming community. As our train pulls to a final stop, we reflect on our journey and on possible journeys in the future. Journeys which may be longer and cover more territory because of the dynamic nature of growth along this prosperous railroad. Plans are constantly being formulated to improve the D&GBL in any way possible. Come and ride the Crimson Limited, the Fiesta Flyer, or any one of our fine trains, and see for yourself how we're really gonna treat you swell when you ride the D&GBL.